stop and take a little time out with me. Just take 5.
Yeah.
So
definitely on a time that's not normal here. Definitely on a time that's not normal, right? Got a lot of things going. It's never easy, but you already know what it is. Turn off the joke.
Give it to me, give it to me.
At Take 5 Pod, man, you already know what we do, right? We come on every week. You just have to you just have to stay tuned. You have to stay locked in for what that time is, right? Because there are a lot of conflicting schedules. Things pop up, out the blue, right? Folks get promoted. You know what I mean? Like, we'll see what it is. College game days on. Like, we just have to see what it is. But Ian, what's up with you, man? What's good? What's new?
no, not much. Just trying to bounce back from these Philly L's.
You
But
won't?
definitely, I think we will. Both teams, all teams.
You thinking is a scary sight.
Anyways, go Birds. That's all I have to say.
Joey, talk to me. How we feeling?
Birds weren't flying last Thursday, I'll tell you that much. Anyway,
Sure.
Just super busy, but glad to come on here and talk some ball.
Nah, definitely gonna have to talk some ball today. Yeah, got busy, but what we have here today is something a little bit different to the podcast, right? So normally we go through our slides, we talk about the different sports, but as you very well know, the NBA season is approaching. The National Basketball Association is here. We've been seeing the preseason games. We've seen the takes from, Big Perk and them, like, on the airways. It's already getting crazy. It's about to be one of those years for the books. A lot of parity before we even get the tip off. All right. Pause. We have to talk about the NBA. We have to get a little preview in. So our senior analyst, Joey, right? He put together some tiers for us that we're going to go through. Now, Joey, before we get into this, do you want to describe what's about to happen right now?
Yeah, absolutely. The context of this tier list is just basically how I have my outlooks on every single team. I'm going to say this right now. Like, it's not like where, like, oh, you're tanking, you're at the total bottom. Like, if you're a contender, you're at the total top. Like, it's not like that. It's a lot of like mismatching. Like, you could be tanking but have a ton of picks. Like, you're got some really promising young pieces. You're gonna see yourself a little bit higher on that list. If there's really no way, like, you're competitive but no real way to build on your current roster, and even if you do start losing and have to tank, you don't really have the picks, you're going to find yourself a little bit further down the list, if that makes sense. Does that make a little bit of sense?
Yeah, Joey, you make sense, but what doesn't make sense is bro in the top right drinking a beatbox on Paul. Like, you drinking a beatbox.
No way.
Tap in.
Yeah,
Tap in.
He's like,
Tap in.
What's up?
They're not knowing. They're not knowing.
Definitely vanilla AF. Like,
Get your protein how you can, bro. Get your protein how you can.
Yeah, anyway. But Ian, do you understand the criteria before we get into this?
Yeah, I got a question. Like, does it got to do with like what you think's gonna happen, like what you think's gonna play out, or like?
I'm just saying, like, as far as like how the roster is built right now, if they can really do anything to build on it, or what they can get in return. Like, if you're not going in a direction, if you have a very much a lack of direction, you're gonna find yourself like kind of at the bottom of that list.
Oh wow. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. So, Joey, we're starting from the bottom. Pause. We're starting from the bottom. let's get into it. All right. So let's just go ahead and let's not do that. But let's go ahead and blow this up for a second here. All right. So S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, and then down with the D. Like the dirty D, boy. Like Joey, talk to it. You made the list. So what are we looking at?
All right, I'm gonna start with D tier. This is compiled of a list of teams that like I just don't see any sort of way they can really come back for what they have. I don't love their future. We can start with like the very easy ones. Milwaukee.
Okay.
You're if I'm Giannis. Or let me backtrack a little bit. If I'm the Milwaukee Bucks front office and Giannis is extension eligible next offseason, he's eligible for a 4-year, $293 million deal. Are you willing to pay him, $70, $80 million at 35? I don't know. I don't think so. I wouldn't do that. If I'm the Milwaukee Bucks front office, if I'm John Horst, I'm staring at that extension like I'm staring down the barrel of a gun. To be totally honest. You have no control of your first-round picks until 2031. Whether it's you owe picks to the Pelicans for Drew Holiday or you're owing picks to the Blazers for the Dame deal. You don't really have any intriguing young guy. There's no real young player that really is really eye-popping to me. Is Brian Rollins your most intriguing young guy? You don't really have any playmakers on this roster. I'm not a fan of Doc Rivers. I just don't see what route you can really go here. I think you really have to take advantage of this season in a very weakened Eastern Conference. But even then, I just don't see them. I don't see them beating a New York. I don't see them even beating a Cleveland. I just don't. I don't see it. I might get shot with this take, but I'm going to say it anyway. I don't think the return for Giannis, if they trade them, is going to be very high.
Why do you think that?
Because of this extension. If you're trading for Giannis, let's say the Bucks trade for him this offseason, right? During this season. Whoever's taking him is going to have to stare down that very same gun barrel of that extension.
I mean, but I feel like every team would pay that. So I in my opinion, I don't think that's really going to deter many teams away from trading as much as possible. I think they're going to get a big haul. Like it's kind of hard not to. Like I guess you could point to like the Luka trade and say like they didn't get much for Luka, but like I feel like this is a situation that's been going on for like a while now. Like Giannis thinking about trades, the Bucks not knowing what their future is going to be. Like I feel like that's been in the air for a while. So I feel like lots of teams have been probably calling them. They probably have been feeling out some trades. So I think it's going to be a lot more like thought out than the Luka one is. So I would think they would get a lot more than at least the Mavs did.
Here you go, thinking again, right?
Anyway,
ask yourself why it's been such a long time. Why this has been drawn out to the.
Because he doesn't know. He doesn't. It's because he hasn't made up his mind.
Giannis hasn't made up his mind.
I don't think so.
And even then, like they've made such poor financial decisions. Like you're cutting Damian Lillard and stretching his contract for Miles Turner. Yes, I love Miles Turner and I think he's a great fit. But like,
I forgot about that.
You could have very easily you don't have space to really improve this roster regardless, especially when you have to extend it.
Yeah, I agree.
There's no space. You're gonna have to pay him more money, and you're gonna hard cap yourself even more. So that's why the Bucks are at D tier.
I agree with that.
Okay. Yeah, I was about to ask if you disagree that they're at the D tier. Now, so the Milwaukee Bucks, I also would have to agree that they are a D tier for all of the things that have been described here, right? You think about them presently constructed. There's still no playmaking guard out there. We don't know what Kyle Kuzma is going to bring to the table as far as that third kind of option kind of guy on a team. They're not built to go very far. I think the ceiling for this team, barring any health issues, right, it's just going to be, play in low playoff standings type of team, and then they're going to bow out first round because they don't have the things necessary to make a Giannis team run. But I think we're all in agreement here with what they look like, and the future is very, very bleak after this, right? So please blow it up with a nuke as soon as you can. All right, let's keep moving.
All right, next team, Phoenix Suns. I think this kind of goes without saying. I think they have one of the worst owners in this league. I think Matt Ishbia is just very trigger happy, especially coming from a guy that was cheap as Robert Sarver and very stubborn about not spending money to make your team competitive, even if your team had went to the finals. That's why he had to sell the team to Ishbia, who then just spent too much money trying to make your team competitive, but just has no sense of how to build a proper roster. Anyway, let's talk about this. Again, suffers from the same sort of deal as Milwaukee. You don't have a good playmaker on this roster. Devin Booker is not a point guard. I'm just telling you that right now. Do I think he's a top shooting guard in this league? Yes. But I think the roster that Matt Ishbia tried to build around him with Kevin Durant, with Bradley Beal, really just like deterred this roster. They gave up all of their assets, and now they have no hope. They have no hope. Like, all their picks are gone. You had to give up an unprotected first-round pick in like 2031 for 3 lesser picks. One of them you had to use to get off the Nurkic deal. You have no control of your first-round picks or the ones you traded for until 2032. Again, I don't love the book extension that he just signed. Average salary of $72 million the last 2 years. I just don't love this team. I don't love the construction of this team. I understand, you're just the construction of this roster doesn't totally make sense. You basically traded for the old Hornets front court that both of the centers who many thought was probably the worst center rotation in the league, in Mark Williams and Nick Richards. I know both of them have probably improved since then. Nick Richards looked pretty solid in a Suns uniform, I will say, but that goes without saying. There's just so many missed opportunities. I think you could have gotten a lot more than Kevin Durant. I think you should have traded Devin Booker instead. I think he would have provided you a lot more value. Just like the overall decisions that this front office has made, I'm just not a fan of. I think they're destined to just the bottom, and that's why they're D tier.
Yeah, I agree. I probably would maybe slide them just to the C tier, just because, in my opinion, I think Devin Booker is that good. I think he could carry a roster at this point in his career.
In the Western Conference? In this Western Conference? No.
The Western Conference, bro.
No.
We have to stop sleeping on Devin Booker. We've seen Devin Booker every time he plays basketball. He performs really above his ability. Like last playoffs, well, I don't know if it was this last playoffs, but
it was
playoffs ago. He was hooping. He was out there hooping. He was playing better than Kevin Durant.
And they got swept by the Timberwolves.
Yeah, there's a way better team. Doesn't have a team around him. But I'm just saying, I think the team right now is a little bit better constructed. Like, I feel like they have a little bit more pieces. It's a little bit more well-rounded than when they had KD. I don't know if it's better, but I think Devin Booker will be allowed to take over and control. And I think at this point in his career, he deserves the respect to at least be a C tier team. I think he deserves the respect to think he can get his team into the playoffs at least.
Your only 2 natural point guards on this roster are Jordan Goodwin and Colin Gillespie. I'm just going to tell you that right now.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Devin
you're playing next to Jalen Green.
What does that mean? I feel like Devin Booker could facilitate if need be. I've seen it happen. I've seen him do it.
Because that worked out so well with Bradley Beal and Kevin Durant on your team.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of ball dominant players, so I feel like it's kind of hard, especially if Devin Booker's not used to really dishing it out. Like he's a scorer first, but like I feel like he can, especially with these big men they just got. Like I feel like Mark Williams is really underrated. Richards too. Like I feel like they're low key a sleeper team.
Now listen, let me get in here. All right. It's not as bad as Joey described today. Okay, let me explain. Right, this team is not going to play much defense at all. Right, but they do have a lot of run and gun weapons that are going to give a lot of teams perimeter defense problems. Right, so that's going to be something that they bank on. They've got a lot of guys that can get out there and score. And, you know, as much as we like to clown him, like you put a Dylan Brooks out there, you know, he's going to muck up the game. You know, he's going to be able to at least take out, you know, or make it difficult on one of the opposing team's players, right? So when you look at the team, they have some big men that they can, you know, rely on to be live threats at the rim. They're bringing in Malawach as well, so I'm excited to see what he's going to do as far as defending the rim. I think he'll play a lot more than even a Richards, right, when we get deep into the season. So their coaching situation, I don't know what that's going to look like, but I think it is going to be a high-powered offense, and they're going to be able to give teams problems. Now, in a long-term situation, there are many moves that have to be made. There's just way too many. There's too much of the same guy on this team. Like we think of Devin Booker, you think of the Jalen Greens of the world. These guys want to run, they want to shoot. We just saw that with this team. That's not how you build a championship roster. So we're going to need to find some type of point guard to put into that mix. We're going to have to find some bigger wings to get out there and guard the Luka Doncic's of the world, to guard the SGAs of the world, right? And we're going to have big men that you can truly rely on down the stretch, because these guys, they're inexperienced down there. I'm teetering to see. I don't think it, you know, is as bad as we think it will be, right? But I definitely understand why it's D, all right? I definitely understand. So if I'm going to make a decision, I will go D, right? But I'm right there on the edge, though, Joey. I'm right there on the edge, Paul. Right. But yeah, I mean, it's 2-1 though, Ed, on that one. It's 2-1 on that one. But we can keep it moving though. Right. I see the Pelicans.
All right. The Pelicans. I got 3 words. Free Trey Murphy. Okay. I think he's really the only guy that I'm really tantalized about on this roster. Actually, I take that back. Yves Missi. He's pretty good too. All rookie second team if I remember correctly. But I just don't like this roster. I just don't. I feel like the Jordan Poole trade just seemed lateral. We don't know what DeJounte Murray is going to come back like. This is just like everybody's injured. Zion Williamson, I don't know if I can really count on him to be healthy. He looks good, but like we say this about him every year. DeJounte Murray, we don't know what he's going to be like. I like Derek Queen. I just have a lot of questions. Like, are you really going to trade a Bucks pick to move up to get him? Do you really like him that much? Does he fit that well besides Zion? I just don't think so. I think he's crafty. I think he showed us some stuff in Summer League that I think, you know, he can bring some real skill to this league. I just don't know if it's the right fit next to Zion. Jeremiah Fears, I don't really like that pick either. I don't think he can really defend. I don't think he's a very efficient scorer. I've got a lot of questions. I don't like the Jordan Poole trade. I think you traded away a nice like veteran presence in CJ McCollum. I just feel like this is a very immature team that lacks veteran presence. And I think I only really like, and I haven't mentioned Sadiq Bey. I think he can be solid, but again, like he's got an injury history too now. It's just, I don't know what to feel about this Pelicans roster. And I'm not a fan of Joe Dumars as a GM making decisions higher up. I think again that like this Jordan Poole trade, I don't like the pick trade to get Derek Queen. I just don't. Something about this team just puts a very bad taste in my mouth. Pause.
Oh, hold on just 1 second. Yeah, hold on just 1 second. I've been standing on this tape for months now. This Pelicans propaganda that it's all, crashing down in New Orleans, it's incorrect. It's incorrect. When you look at this roster, Joey, what don't I have exactly? What exactly am I missing on this roster?
Defense.
Yeah, probably
Shooting.
Grand theft. I don't have grand theft coming on the bench. I don't have
Interior.
Herb Jones. I don't have Trey Murphy.
Interior
What are you talking
defense.
about?
You need interior defense. You need a rim protector.
Dog. V Missy has proven that he can come in there and mix it up. Pause. Like we have to. I respect him as a basketball player. I'm not going to sit here and say
Morgan, I'm
that
gonna cut you off right here. I'm sorry. There's one more. I like Trey Murphy. I like Herb Jones, which I can't believe I forgot about, and I like Yves Seat. That makes 3. Sorry, I forgot Herb Jones. Let me give him his flowers. Sorry.
Herb Jones he is a perimeter lockdown defender. Listen, you put in V Missy, you put in Kevon Looney, in situational aspects, right? You'll have enough interior defense. There's not going to be a bunch of centers that are tearing you up in this league. Like, we have a couple of names that we will fear for sure, but like we don't play down low. This is going to be a team that's going to terrorize the perimeter on the defensive end, and then you also have to deal with a Zion that's been on Ozempic. You have to deal with that. He's on the podcast with us. You have to deal with that. So it's just like, again, these guys have played in the playoffs now. They have that under the belt. They have that experience. Willie Green is an underrated coach. If they can find a way to put it together, they're going to look good. And I think a lot of it for me is it may not be this year exactly, but once they get a DeJounte that's healthy and whole, that understands that he can be a point guard of a team, facilitate, they'll be a formidable opponent, right? That's all I want to say about it. And but before I get to you, Ian, this is not a D-tier team as far as the future is concerned or as far as presently constructed, right? It's really C+. Like, it's definitely C+ if we're really looking at that, and that's my thing.
I agree partly with Joey when he says team does have an injury history. Best player can't stay healthy, can barely play a full, even half a season. So, I mean, that is a huge part. So I see why he could put him in D. But I do agree with Morgan's point. They do have some guys. Trey Murphy's good. They just got Jordan Poole. I don't think he's as bad as...
Mention Jordan Poole.
Yeah, I don't think people I think they give him a bad rap just because he was on a terrible team and he had to do a lot. But back in the day when he was a 6th man on the Warriors, he was one of the best bench players in the league. So I mean, I think if you can find a role for him, he could definitely fit on this team pretty well. But yeah, I think it all rides on the health of Zion. He's their best player. So we just have to see if he can. I think he can stay healthy. He's lost a lot of weight. We've seen the pictures and all that. So I think only time will tell for this team. But I would probably say I'm okay putting them in the D tier just because Zion's health is we never know with that. And even the rest of the team, like Joey said, is pretty injury prone. So I would keep them at a D, but I think they do have a pretty high ceiling.
Now, I need you to remember what you're saying before we keep going. Injury history, right? One more time. Injury history. Okay, so keep that.
But they don't have a roster like a lot of.
Stand there. I don't know what you're talking about yet. We're gonna have just stand there.
But you know what I mean.
I don't. Stand on that.
How many All Stars do the New Orleans Pelicans have? How many New Orleans Pelicans? Yeah, okay.
I'm not
Just
Tyler
one.
Hero's an all-star.
Like I said, it all resides on the health of Zion Williamson.
Okay, for sure.
That's all I said.
It's 2v1, Joey, on that one. Now, when I look at these next three teams, right, I want to let's bring those all together, right? Did any of y'all believe? I know Joey made a list. Ian, do you believe, rather, that the Kings, Clippers, or Raptors are not a D-ranked team?
See, y'all are both going to disagree with me here, but the Clippers are not a D tier team, and that is ridiculous. Ridiculous. They have one of the best playoff performers in the league. Like I said, it all comes down to health.
Who?
Anyways,
Aspire LLC.
We know their best player. When it comes to the playoffs, he's one of the best in the league. I just don't see how you could put a team who has that caliber player at the same tier as the Toronto Raptors. Their best player is Scotty Barnes. Scotty Barnes and Kawhi Leonard.
We just watched the playoffs.
What does that mean?
He wasn't the best player or one of the best. Like, that's not what happened.
Okay.
He got sent home. He's getting older.
That really wasn't his fault, but we can all agree that the teams Kawhi is the best player out of all these dear team.
What did you just say?
Huh?
Over Giannis?
Injury history.
In the playoffs? Dude, Giannis hasn't made it out of the first round. He hasn't won a playoff game in like 4 years.
It's injuries, bro. Is it
bro,
not?
Nah, bro. I seen Giannis play a playoff game and miss 20 free throws. He could have won. He was fine. It was the free throws that lost him the game, not his injury. But we can get off Giannis with the injury. Kawhi is the best. He's the best.
The Bucks have won a playoff series before the Clippers have. Like, as far as like more recently, the year after they won, they went to the second round. I think the Clippers probably also made the second. Like, I don't think they've won a playoff series since like
the bubble.
After that, I think they made the conference finals in 2021.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, fine, but I don't think that we can say that the Bucks second best player after what's his name?
You just moved the goalpost.
But I'm just trying to say like the rosters are not similar. Like
Kawhi Leonard does not play basketball.
Yeah, like Kawhi does not play. You just got through saying that the Pelicans.
Okay, but
E-rated
can't predict injury, bro.
He's gonna throw his back out planting fake trees. Ian, he's gonna throw his back out planting fake trees.
Nah, Ian, this is crazy.
Come on now.
You just got through talking about injury history.
Yeah, I said injury history plays a part in it, but you can't predict injuries.
Paul, James Harden, and Kawhi Leonard on one team. Is that not injury history?
Wait. Hang on. 37-year-old Brooke Lopez. He's not that injury prone, but like he's still old. This is a retirement home.
I mean, okay, you can say that, but as the roster is constructed right now with no injuries, to put them in the D tier is it's ridiculous.
That's just wishful thinking, though. Like that's not like a reality. I don't think that's a reality.
We haven't even seen it play out yet. There's no reality to happen to see. We haven't seen it. There's no reality.
Nah, bro. Nah, I can't co-sign that at all.
Bro, I mean, Morgan's only agreeing with you because he's a Kawhi hater. I'm neutral.
Nah, you don't have picks. You don't have any tantalizing young guys. What are you gonna have after they after everyone shrivel up into dust and retire? What are you gonna have? Nothing.
Do they have any young guys
outside of the Mavericks and maybe like a few other teams? I can't even really think like of any great West teams. Like they have a chance as well as anyone else. Put them in the D tier. and they have one of the best playoff performers. So they definitely have like way better chances than half these teams.
Nah, bro, I can't co-sign it. I can't co-sign it. Do you have anything else to say before we move on to another tier? Like,
I just want to say, I think Kawhi, if he stays healthy for majority of the season, they'll probably end a top 3 seed in the
bro,
West.
Kawhi is pushing 40. He's not about to carry Chris Paul, who's pushing 50, and James Harden, who you believe to be a playoff holder, right? He's
Yes.
not going to carry that roster with Brook Lopez anchoring the defense at 40.
Kawhi hasn't played in a minute, bro. He's got fresh legs.
He was just playing a couple months ago.
Yeah, but that was the playoffs.
Bro, all right.
It was a short stint. Like
think-
he's
you
got
think
fresh
they're
legs, bro. We'll see.
You think they're going to compete with the Houston, an OKC, a Denver? No. A Minnesota?
Yeah,
No.
like, be serious, bro. Be serious.
Minnesota's
No.
overrated. A lot of teams you just name are overrated, bro. So,
Yeah, whatever, man. Okay, Joey, let's get into the C tier.
All right. I'm gonna address the last 2 D tier teams really fast. I'll be quick.
Okay.
But Sacramento Kings, where have I seen this before? Oh yeah, they were in Chicago like 2 years ago. Anyway. This team just doesn't make sense to me. They just signed Russell Westbrook. What is this team? They extended Keegan Murray, who like is their only real like interesting young guy. Like that's cool, but like other than that, you don't get extra credit for keeping your picks. That's like the bar. The equilibrium is like you're keeping your picks. You haven't done anything to get picks or trade your picks away. What are you gonna do as a bonus? I think you really need to come to a conclusion. Zach LaVine's extension eligible. He's definitely gonna take his player option next season. I hate this roster, and just skeptical
really
on
bad.
this decision making. And then the Raptors, they're a first apron team. I don't really have any sort of expectations. They're a very clunky team. They traded for Brandon Ingram, who's got his own injury history, and extended him to a nice little decent contract. Scotty Barnes is a 4th option that's being paid, but like a first option. Don't love that. The Pirtle extension is totally heinous. I hate it. He's getting paid like $29 million a year. Just like again, I'm not giving you extra credit because you haven't spent picks. I just don't understand what this roster is. Emmanuel Quickley, he played 33 games last season. He's getting paid like $33 million. He's not a point guard, by the way. The Raptors really want him to be that. I think it's super contingent on if Grady Dick or Jacoby Walter can really take a step and consistently like be your 3 and D guy. RJ Barrett's still like hanging around like a sore thumb over there. What are you going to do with him? Are you going to bring him off the bench? There's just a lot of questions to this team. I like Rajakovic as a coach. I think that's his name, Darko Rajakovic.
Darko.
I think he's a solid coach, but other than that, I just don't love this roster. They're paying an absurd amount of money. Like I said, they're a first apron team without really any sort of expectations. We don't know what this is going to look like. I just don't know if they're going to make a whole lot of noise in the East, even if it's weak.
It's
Yeah, I
really
agree.
bad. Nah, but I was just going. My only take with it. I mean, they're D teams, maybe D minus F, but I was just letting Joey know though yesterday that we're starting to see the vision of Dick, of Grady Dick. You know what I mean? Because like we're starting to see what that could look like. I could see him being a player in this league. Like I'm starting to see that that skill, that Dick skill, translate right onto the hardwood. Right, so we're starting to see that, but no, it's looking pretty bad though.
Morgan was probably licking his lips of all the jokes that he was going to make for that segment.
I'm trying to give a take about Grady Dick. Like, we got to be serious when we have these discussions. But now let's keep it moving on.
All right, C tier. We're gonna start out with my Chicago Bulls. I'm not gonna be too crazy about this one. Our owner doesn't like to spend. They're very passionate. Y'all gotta say something? Go ahead.
So you know good and well. You know good and well that's a D tier team. You know that. But I want to hear the takes though. Like, convince me it's a C.
All right. You got a ton of cap space open up next offseason.
Right.
Zach Collins is coming off your books. Kevin Herter's coming off your books. Vooch is coming off your books. Kobe White, you got to re-sign him. Like I think regardless if you trade him or not, him and Io are like you can keep, you can trade. It doesn't matter. I think you're still going to get very good value. You're opening up a ton of cap space next offseason to do what you want, absorb sort of bad contracts, maybe get some picks in return. I think there's a lot of opportunity that you can do, that you can really play with here. There is a world where the Bulls don't have a first rounder next year, which I think is a problem. That Portland pick that they still owe the Bulls cannot convey. If it falls outside of the top like 4, I think top 8, that's not going to convey. Like that goes to San Antonio. There's a world where the Bulls don't have a first rounder next year, and that's a little concerning. So I think you have the guys that you can trade for some sort of first rounder. You just need to actually be able to trade that and get value. I'm not giving extra credit for not like being super egregious with trading away picks, keeping picks back. Like you don't get extra credit for keeping your picks. I'm going to be totally honest. That's the
Now,
best.
Joey. Now listen. So cap space, that's half the battle. That's the first battle. But the second half has to be addressed as well, right? When was the last time we had a star in the Windy City, Ian?
I can't even remember.
So cap space for who exactly? Who is going to team up with Kobe White and company in the Windy City?
Well, honestly, yeah, free agents really only go to like 5 or 6 different places. It's really sad to see now. Like Philly isn't even a destination anymore, or ever was.
Destination.
Yeah, so.
That's my first point that I like to make. But we need to backtrack though. What about presently constructed? Right? Because that is part of this tier list. Like what do we have to work with for this season? Right? Talk to me. What do I have to look forward to?
This is a real show me team. For Kobe White, hey, like you should resign me to a nice little contract, a nice like $33 million deal, right? Vooch, can you get some real assets out of him? Like this is a very real like show me team. There's no pressure to compete right now, even when it's weak. Modest Buzelis, we really loved him at the end of last season. Is it sustainable over the course of a full season? I think it can, but it's remained to be seen. I need a larger sample size here.
Now, my task, we're starting to see the vision there. We are starting to see the vision. But as I mentioned to you already, is he going to be the leader to your promised land? And jump in here, man.
I mean,
about the Chicago Bulls.
Yeah, to have him in the C tier is, in my opinion, crazy. In my opinion, I don't really see a star or really even an all-star on the team. Kobe White's good. Like, he can turn into that. But I think it's a few years down the road, and he definitely needs a team. Like, he needs some players on his team to actually compete. Yeah, I just don't see it. Even though the East is weak, they still probably won't make the playoffs. Like, you have Giddey. Like, he could be part of that future. I think he's better than most people think. So you do have pieces. It's just, in my opinion, I don't think it's a complete team, and I just don't see any star on the team. So I would definitely put him in the D tier.
It's 2v1 there. But now, so Joey, for the sake of time here, though, when I look at that C tier list, I'm going to just go ahead and get my take out the way. All of those teams are D tier, except for the Dallas Mavericks. All right, y'all do with that what you may. Y'all do with that what you may.
So along with the other D tiers, you would put them,
Especially that Sixers team. But yes. Looking at that list right there, all of those teams are D tier except for the Dallas Mavericks. Right?
all right. I need you to explain why the Sixers are a D tier.
All right, Joey, what do we have for the Sixers right now?
All right, I think I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna start off by saying I think the Mavericks, the Sixers, and the Grizzlies all share something in common as far as you don't really have any sort of reliable star to play basketball games. I think Kyrie Irving's got his own injury history. AD's got his own injury history. Don't even get me started on Joel Embiid and Paul George. And I know you're trying.
What about Maxey?
I'm gonna get to that 1 second. Ja Morant, Jaren Jackson. Jaren Jackson just signed an extension, already hurt. Like these guys aren't sustainable. But I will say their saving grace is they do have a decent plethora of young guys. Dallas Mavericks, as much as I really hate to say it, I'm not going to give Nico Harrison credit for falling into that number 1 pick. Cooper Flag is going to be very good. I will say it kind of concerns me about what like the future is going to look like. Are you like what you're going to get for an Anthony Davis, a Kyrie Irving, a PJ Washington? Like you have these kind of smaller salaries that you can attach in trades, maybe get some picks, some interesting young guys. That's kind of interesting. The Sixers, Tyrese Maxey is interesting. Jared McCain's interesting. VJ Edgecombe looks pretty good. The Grizzlies, I love Jalen Wells. I think GG Jackson's pretty good. I think it's just I don't think they can really be competitive in that Western Conference as far as the Dallas Mavericks and Memphis Grizzlies go. The Sixers, I just feel like you're kind of up against the wall. I obviously super contingent on Joel Embiid and Paul George being healthy and Paul George playing like that. We know that he is capable of playing. I don't know if that's going to happen, but it kind of segues into the Warriors. I think they have the potential to go down that path to where you need to prioritize your young guys sooner than later, or else you're going to end up like the Warriors. The only one on contract past like next season, not this upcoming season, but the season after that, is Moses Moody. Moses Moody and Podziemski is extension eligible after this season. Quentin Post is a restricted free agent. I just don't see why you're going to sacrifice your future for the last 2 seasons of Curry and Draymond and Jimmy Butler right along with that. I think that's very dumb. You're already sacrificing what could be one of your main guys in Kuminga for it, where you just like draft up a contract that's built to be torn apart after that first year. I think that's very dumb. You see where I'm going with this a little bit.
No, definitely. So let's really get into it, right? So if I could just share a few takes. That Warriors team, right? That's just a disaster waiting to happen there. But I think when we talk about Curry and Draymond's legacy, like they've earned the rights to dismantle that franchise with them. Like that the franchise is going to go with them as they exit out the door, and that's perfectly fine. I've never been a Jimmy Butler believer. He's not about to just pull a rabbit out of the hat. Those days are gone for him. Now, that Sixers team, before I get into the Dallas Mavericks, Joey does bring up a good point that they do have some interesting young guys on that team to where the future could be brighter, right? We could see a shining light at the end of the tunnel. But Ian, I had to say it multiple times. Injury history, right? One more time. Injury history. Joel Embiid is not going to be there. We can't rely on him to ever be there. Like, we don't need a crystal ball. We don't need anything special to know that Joe is not going to show. We know that, right? He's not going to be there. Paul George, he's at the end of his career. Like, maybe 2 years max for him, right? We wish him nothing but the best, Hall of Famer, but he's at the end of the road. Okay. Maxey, we love Maxey. You know what I mean? He's a good player, right? And I think he's going to have a very bright future in this league, but he has his own injury history himself. Jared McCain, his rookie season was a couple weeks. I mean, my God, like we don't know. And I think he got hurt again. Like, I don't know what, that's going to look like for a full year. Like, do they figure out his bag of tricks? Do they chip his nail polish? Like, does something happen to where he's not the same player that he,
that was funny.
In that short span? I'm being real. Like, I'm giving you my take. So when I look at that Sixers team, right, the future, there may be a shining light far, far at the end of that tunnel, right? But it's too far for me to put them at a C, at that C spot. And I'll let you get your rebuttal there. What do you have to say about that? Like, why do you believe, or where do you believe they should rank?
I mean, like, I do agree. It does depend on Joel Embiid's health, but we've seen him. He's dunking finally for the first time in 2 years. We haven't seen that in 2 years exactly. So his knee. Well, I'm just trying to say his knee is actually finally fine. The only reason he wasn't able to dunk was because he had torn his meniscus and was never able to heal from it. But this summer, he got the surgery that he was told not to get for some reason because our medical staff sucked. finally looking healthy. He can dunk the ball. But yeah, I definitely agree. It definitely depends if he can, go throughout the season without being nicked up. I think if he gets to the playoffs, mostly healthy, if we can just skid into the playoffs, maybe like in the 6th seed, he doesn't play most of the games.
Stop playing.
Be quiet, bro.
Stop this.
Anyways, if Maxey can carry us, which I think he will take a step this year, especially with the helps of McCain and VJ. Like, we didn't see that. We haven't seen that this past few years with help coming for Joel and Maxey. But I think this year we'll see PG even a little bit. He doesn't even need to be the PG of old. If he can just give some defense, some threes, if he can score in spots where we need him to score, I think we have a very good team with scores and defense. There's just not much. There's not many holes. There's not many holes to put us in the D tier, bro. We don't have holes. At a fully constructed roster, we're one of the best rosters in the league, and that's really hard to debate.
Do I have to say it 3 more times, Joey? Injury history.
And like I said, you can't predict injuries, so I don't understand.
I've done it the past 2 years.
You have not. You have not.
The past 2 years, your team.
Well, that might be because he had a knee injury that never got taken care of, but now he's taking care of it.
Sorry, Morgan, I'm going to say one more thing.
I was going to keep going. What you got?
I want to talk about the Mavs after you're done too.
Roster construction like this, like the Sixers, like the Mavs, when you put all these injury-prone stars together, is what gets GMs fired. I'm going to say that right now.
Coaches fired, GMs, start throwing stuff on the hardwood. But we can talk about the Mavericks, though. We can talk about them. Now, the reason why I believe this is a C+ type of team is, yes, Joey is right about the fact that they do have they're very reliant on Kyrie and Anthony Davis, but I think they're still at a point of their season career to where they can take a team to the promised land if they are healthy. But again, as we talk about our injury history, that is an if. So we do have to keep that in mind because we don't know when Kyrie's going to come back. I don't care what type of jumpers he's shooting in the warm-ups or the open gyms or whatnot. We don't know what that's going to look like when he's back, right? We know he's a hard worker, but we really don't know what that's going to look like. But the reason why I'm leaning towards that B spot with this team even is because, unfortunately, I have to make this take now, but Cooper Flag is a star today, okay? We understand with the intangibles that he has, the size, far as like the ability to shoot off the dribble, play make at a high level, and then play defense at a high level. he's a star today. No,
Talking
he's
about LeBron?
hush. No, he's not going to make the All-Star game. You know what I mean? No, he's not going to average 25 points, do anything crazy in his rookie year. However, he's the perfect complementary piece for what the Mavericks have built in terms of their roster construction.
He's a bigger Luka.
Their window, he's nothing like Luka. Their window is about 2 to 3 years, Joey, right? That's where we want to strike gold and get to that championship. But after that, I believe Cooper Flag is going to be so good to a point where we're just, who can we bring in? You know what I mean? Well, whoever we bring in, we're still going to be a playoff team. We're still going to compete at a very high level, barring any injuries, any of that confusion. So that's my take about the Mavericks. I think they look good now, but future is also going to be bright for the young man.
So why would you put him at a C?
Nico Harrison, if you're listening right now, tear down, please. The basketball gods gift drafted you, Cooper Flag, after the atrocity you committed last season.
It was a gift.
Tear down, please.
You said you would put him at a B, though?
Yeah, I'm leaning towards putting them at a B. Yes, sir. Yep.
Yeah, I agree.
I do it. Like, and the only reason why I get where Joey's coming from, though, is because, again, like, you're relying on AD and Kyrie, guys who are known not to be there, and they're already dealing, like, AD playing with goggles right now, Kyrie, in the Advent Health Center. Like, we got him in Emory. So it's just like, I get that. But once we put that thing together in the second half of the season, I still believe it will be danger. It will be
Bro, if they get Kyrie back, this team is probably going toe to toe with the best teams in the West. If we think about it, like last year, I thought they were probably one of the best teams at full strength in the West. You add Cooper Flag in, a point guard, like he's gonna already be facilitating the rock when Kyrie's out. He's gonna have the ball in his hands. He's gonna get a little comfortable. Like he might already have some chemistry with AD. Like it could get serious.
He looks good.
You can't spell wishful without F.
Hey man, that's for everything though.
Including your Sixers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If Joel Embiid stays healthy, we don't want to know what happens. You don't want to know what happens. You don't want to know what happens.
I've never known what happens.
You don't want to know.
But to finish us off on this slide, we definitely got to move. Grizzlies is boo-boo over there. That I'm leaning towards D bars. And then the Heat, they always find a way, but they don't really have anything that I'm excited about there. They've got some young guys, so like I can see the C. We talk about Jaime, and then we talk about guys like Kalel. Ware, I believe, or whatever his name is. Like,
I love Kalel Ware.
Yeah, like he's gonna be a good young player. So I can see the C, right? So I may backtrack just a little bit on the Heat. Those are my takes, and then I'm good.
I'm just not. I think the idea of Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo on your team is a lot better than Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo on your basketball team. I'm gonna just say that. I think they're good. I think Bam Adebayo is a very versatile defender.
Yeah.
Very, very warranted in all defensive conversations, but offensively, he's starting to stretch the floor a little bit. I'm not able to buy it. I think it's overblown. I'm going to be totally honest. I think Tyler Hero, he's just a glorified scorer. Mm-hmm. I don't think he really brings much else to the table. That's all.
Like you said, they're good, but not that good. Anywho, let's get to this B tier here, Joey. All right, so what are we looking at?
Alrighty. Pacers, Celtics, same sort of deal here. Obviously, your main guys down with Achilles injuries. You're not exactly sure what they're going to look like coming back. I know Morgan's probably licking his lips at the sight of the Indiana Pacers, but I genuinely think they'll still be competitive. Without Tyrese Halliburton, without Miles Turner, I think they still have some guys we're sleeping on Andrew Nemhard, Benedict Mathurin, solid. Like I don't think they're going to be a contender at the East by any means, but like I think they're still going to be competitive. I think the Celtics, same sort of deal. Like this is a prove it year for Jaylen Brown. I think Anthony Simons looks solid in preseason, but like we still have yet to see what he's going to be like there. I think we've kind of already admitted, hey, like we're definitely not going to be where we were before. We're already starting to kind of tear down. Celtics are making moves to get under the apron. It looks pretty as okay as you possibly can. Pacers, same deal. I think they'll still be competitive. I don't think they're going to be on the upper echelon, but like I don't think they're going to be bottom feeders either.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to be competitive.
These are interesting here. I'll run through mine. These are interesting. Pacers.
Don't
Let me
contradict
come
yourself.
back to them, bro. Like, let me come back to the Pacers because that can be interesting. The Boston Celtics, the future to me, I understand you're going to get Tatum back, but what are we putting around Tatum and Brown? Right? Simons, he's not going to win you a chip. He's a good player. I think he's going to be exactly what they need while Tatum's gone, but bringing him back in, I'm not seeing it. We lost a lot of defense. We lost a lot of experience in Porzingis, Al Horford, and the likes. You still got Derek White on that team. He's a good player. I just don't see the roster construction in the present, and I don't know where we go going forward with their financial situation. Therefore, I'm going to have to bump them down to C. The Cleveland Cavaliers, I think they are right where they need to be. I'd even aim towards a B plus simply because they're going to probably be the best roster you see in the East, like, before tip off. And with that being said, they also have some options for the future as well. They could fill out that bench a little bit, maybe even move around some starters, right, in order to ultimately get to where they need to be. I think B is a good place, though, because that clock is ticking. The Brooklyn Nets, that's another tough one. I think the future is so, it could be so bright to where, it's the assets and the fact that they just have 2K My players on their roster.
I really struggled with the ranking of the Brooklyn Nets because I think right now on paper their roster is just ugly. Probably one of the ugliest rosters in the league, but I will say the caveat here, they're one of two teams this season with cap space. Yeah. Number one. And they've got a plethora of first rounders to just play around with. But it could pay off, or you can get a situation like you did this draft where you had 5 first rounders and you took guards with 4 out of 5 of them.
The worst.
I think it's just I just don't know what this roster is going to look like. You got to trade Claxton at some point. I think you can get some real value out of him. Cam Thomas, he has all the promise in the world to be an electric scorer, but I just don't love his resilience to just not do anything else on the basketball court. I think it definitely caps the ceiling, and I don't know if that's someone you really want around your team. We're going to have to see about these young guards, though. I think Igor Demon, Nolan Traore, Ben Seraph, I think they're okay. I think Danny Wolf is a very interesting prospect. We're going to have to see what he looks like. He can maybe turn into some sort of revelation. He looked pretty solid at Michigan. I think he projects to be a pretty solid playmaker, which I think will be interesting. You're going to have him handle the ball a little bit. I have no clue, but that remains to be seen. But again, I think it's wishful thinking. But again, I think the cap space and the assets as far as the draft goes, I think is what made me put them in B.
I'm personally not mad at the Nets being B, simply for the fact, like, the worst thing that could happen to them is that this year, all of those guys that you mentioned, nobody shows anything. Like, nobody gives us anything to where, oh, I can see, the vision of this guy. I might want to have him as a 3-and-D on my roster or whatever the case may be. Like, I think the upside of that team is just too great for them to be any lower, right? The Los Angeles Lakers, y'all know I'm a fan. I was telling Joey this, and I don't know if this year is going to be good. I think this is going to be more of a LeBron farewell tour type of thing. Hopefully see some playoff action. I don't really see this going far. There are a lot of moves that need to be made for the Lakers to be a serious contending team in the league. And with that being said, I may have to bump them down to C because the future, I mean, it can look okay, but at the same time, it's like you're going to have a team of Austin Reeves, Luka, and DeAndre Ayton, right? That's not going to win you a championship. Like, you're going to have to make some moves, some drastic moves on that team to really push that needle. We've seen Luka do it with less, which is why, like, C is I think a good area because we're gonna have him hopefully for the long term. But yeah, it's gonna be tough there. It's gonna be tough.
I'm kind of in the same boat. You can't really rebuild around Luka with LeBron just still being there. I think as long as LeBron's there, he's just he sticks out like a sore thumb, and you can't really he's getting paid. You can't really use that whatever, like 52 million, whatever he's getting paid somewhere else to kind of boost up whatever sort of role players you have. And don't get me wrong, like there's still some very solid role players on this team. I think I've still got stock in Jared Vanderbilt, regardless of his injury history. Rui, I think is fine. Austin Reeves, I think is good. I just, I think it just like the quality of role players around you just kind of is hindered by what you're paying LeBron and him still being there. Mm-hmm. So I think the faster that you get LeBron James out of there, and I think the blessing that LeBron James is able to play this long, I think is becoming a curse the more and more he continues to play. And I think I saw some sort of Bleacher Report article, like, or someone put out an announcement like LeBron James is no value. Yeah, of course, he's 42, and you expect whatever team he's on to give up your future so that you can win. I don't think he's set on winning right now. I don't think he cares about winning anymore.
Nah, I think he's already done that. Like
he's done it. I just don't understand what the point is making announcements about I'm making like the second decision and it turns out to be a Hennessy commercial. Like, what are we doing here? I just like, it's just.
Well, I think he's kind of stuck too, because like I feel like the Lakers, they really kind of control his future. I've heard reports. I don't know if it's true. Like they didn't want to give him an extension, which I mean I understand, but like. He doesn't know what his future looks like. They could trade him tomorrow, or. No,
they couldn't.
What do you mean? Yes, they could. I truly believe
it has no value.
Yeah, I know, but I truly believe they don't really want him on the team though. I think at this point they're trying to get everything they can, because they do have Luka, they do have a winning player, and they still can build around him. So they can get what they can for LeBron, but back to the list, I do agree with every team. No, I mean I don't agree except for the Cavs. Every other team I would probably put in the C, just because the Celtics and the Pacers' best two players won't play. I think that's going to hinder them both a lot. Even if they do get in the playoffs, they're going to be missing their best two players. You need your stars in the playoffs. Brooklyn, I don't like. You did say they have the future. I could see that, but like you said, the roster is not that good. And the Lakers, yeah, I like y'all were saying, like it's not that great outside of Luca and like a few other pieces. Like LeBron's old, you can't really get much for him. So yeah, I would put them in the C tier, and then Hornets, yeah, they just have LaMelo Ball. So I think that's
I'm gonna revisit Boston and then go to Cleveland because I didn't really say anything about them. Boston. I think Derek White, Sam Hauser, and Peyton Pritchard are your main trade chips. I think they can get a decent amount for them. What they will get remains to be seen, but I think those are some very solid. Those are some very solid pieces to play with. Again, prove it season for Jaylen Brown. That's all I got for the Celtics. Cleveland. They're the only second apron team this season. I struggled to wrap my head around that. I think it's definitely time to trade one of your main guys for depth, and I think your issue with this team is in the backcourt than it is in the front court. I think Darius Garland needs to get moved. I think Lonzo is a huge addition. They got him for a half-eaten bag of chips. Thank you, Arturas Karnisovas, for being so dumb, but I digress. I think Lonzo Ball is huge for him. He looked good the other night. I think someone like that is a perfect match aside from Donovan Mitchell. I think you can get some serious value out of Darius Garland from a team that I think really is really needed of a playmaker. I think you can get some solid wing depth from a team like Phoenix. If Matt Ishbia is dumb enough to trade for someone for with a big value, I think you can probably get a nice Dylan Brooks or just some sort of wing value, Royce O'Neal, someone who can really help you in the in-between game. Maybe even you can get someone that can help you out in the rebounding department, because I don't think Evan Mobley or Jarrett Allen were very high in that department. But other than that, you're going to be in the second apron for the foreseeable future. I'm not super high on them as I am with the Knicks, or I think, spoiler alert, I think the Knicks are my pick to go out of the East this year, but I'm just I don't know. I'm very not sold on the Cavs. And then the Hornets, they've got a nice plethora of nice young players, obviously super contingent on if LaMelo Ball is healthy. Morgan, say those nice 2 words again for me.
Injury history.
Thank you.
Injury history.
I like Brandon Miller. I like Con Knippel, Kalkbrenner, McNeely. All these guys I think are solid enough. I think they're going to be a very interesting team to watch this year. But that's all I got for B tier.
All right, so I had to get this up here. Right, so we gonna do these together, Joey. I gotta keep it moving here, but
for sure.
Nah, so let's discuss a few things here. You have the Knicks coming out of the East.
Yes.
I've got to clip you. That's
go for it.
I can't believe you would fall into New York media propaganda so far as to say something as blasphemous as that. I don't care how tattered the East is. The Knicks will not make it to the finals. That's not something that's going to occur. All right, it's somebody's dream. That's La La Land that we're talking about, right? Sugar and milk and honey, right? And you drinking that beatbox that Ian is drinking. Okay. Stop the madness. Now, and looking at these 2 top tiers here. So we have the A tier teams and we have the S tier. Okay. I see some craziness there, but what immediately jumps out to you? I'm just curious before we hear from Joey.
Definitely, you could say the Pistons. There are a few teams, probably, in my opinion. I'm not that high on the Magic. I never have been. I think Paolo's good. Franz is good, but that's it. Wizards, of course.
Oh my God.
But yeah, other than that, I think it's not terrible. Outside, maybe I think the Jazz do have a really good future. I'm kind of high on the Jazz, so I'm not. I would probably put them at the B tier, maybe C, but I'm not mad at the A because I do see where you're coming from if you're talking about their future. Um, but yeah, the ones that really just stand out are Detroit, in my opinion, and in Washington.
All right, Joey. Talk to us here. Right?
All right.
Explain
I'm
yourself.
gonna tie Portland, Washington, and Utah together. Utah is the other team that has cap space this season. I love the pieces that they have. I think you still have to get what you can out of Lauri Markkanen. Kessler, I think, is interesting. They didn't give him an extension. I think he is very well deserving of that. I'm curious what you can get out of him as well if you're not going to bring him back. I do like the other pieces that they have. I like Taylor. Like, we still need to see more out of Taylor Hendricks. We need to see more out of Cody Williams. I think he was like the worst. Like, the stats showed he was like the worst player in the league last year, or something like that. I think to that I say I think there's still work to be done there. Like, again, I think Darius Garland at one point was considered the worst player in the league, and now look where he is. So I'm not ready to give up on Cody Williams just yet. Collier is a nice playmaker. Sensabaugh is nice. Filipowski looked very good in summer league. I think I'm very excited to see what he's got. I think they have really good pieces. They've got a lot of assets. I think it's definitely worthy of eights here. The Wizards, I think they definitely got a little bit more mature. Getting Kyle Kuzma out of there, getting Jordan Poole out of there, brought in vets like Chris Middleton and CJ McCollum in to kind of be around these young guys. And these are some very quality young guys. I love Bub Carrington. I love Keyshawn George, Alex Sarr. Trey Johnson's solid too. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets big minutes. They've got pieces. Bilal Coulibaly, when he gets back, I think he's injured if I'm not mistaken. But
He's nice.
like they look really solid. I think they're going to be an entertaining team to watch. I think they're really maturing as a team. I think definitely a candidate for most surprising this year. And now my pick for most surprising team this season, the Portland Trailblazers. I think quietly they've been a winner of this offseason. They traded, or I think they're reaping the benefits of the Denny Avdija, Malcolm Brogdon trade last offseason at the deadline. Denny Avdija looked like a borderline all-star at the end of last season. I think it remains to be seen what Scoot's development will be like. I know Morgan is not high on it, but I think bringing in vets like a Drew Holiday and a Dame, even if he's not going to be on the court, I think will help with his development. Shaden Sharp, I think, is a nice piece. I think you're trying to get what you can out of Jeremy Grant and whatever egregious contract he has right now. Donovan Clingan is a nice piece. Young Hansen is going to be nuts. Trust me, he's a problem. He is a problem.
You don't even know who that is, man. Like,
I don't.
you don't even know who you're talking
I'm
about.
not gonna lie.
Like, you know. Okay, Joey. Hold on. Let's take a minute. Blazers, like, there's still too much tomfoolery going there for them to be A tier, in my personal opinion. Like, the Damian Lillard thing, like, what are we doing? Like, for the culture, whatever, bring your boy back home. Like, I don't know what that's about. He's going to be in a veteran role. I get it, but I don't know what that's about. Jeremiah Grant, that's one of the worst moves in recent history of basketball. Talking about the contract situation, I don't remember the last time he was playing more than 40 games. I really don't. I'd have to look and see what's going on. Like, a nice player, but something's got to give with his situation there. Poop Scoop, right? That's a number 2 overall pick. You know what I mean? Like that you're getting nothing out of. Number 3 overall pick that you're absolutely getting nothing out of. Like I think the future is very bleak there. It's going to take many, many years for him to develop into some type of role player in the National Basketball Association. But it's not what it looked. It's not what it was supposed to be. Right? For those reasons, they got to drop down for me. Wizards, we still have. Don't we still have Chris Middleton on the books? Is that correct? We've got to tone down just a little bit. We got to tone down just a little bit. They've got some exciting young guys, right? We'll see what Sarr develops into, but we got to bring that down. That's it. There might be light at the end of the tunnel, but the B ranking, that's fair. That's fair to me. You convinced me of the Jazz situation. So I'll keep them up there. I was concerned about that pick, but I'll keep them there. But that's all I got to say about that tier. And so that's the only thing there as well. But repping the A though.
Hopefully the Hawks, they can take advantage of this future they have.
Yeah, as you see how it's coming from a deep and dark place.
Nah, I hope they do. It would be sad if they didn't.
I bet you do. I bet you do hope that it's coming from a very deep and dark place within your heart that you're saying that.
I'm gonna get into the Hawks after saying with the Blazers. I forgot to mention Tamani Kamara, all defensive guy, very creative piece. But that's all I'm gonna say about that.
All right.
Back to the Hawks. As you guys know, I'm very high on them after this offseason. Morgan loves that I'm saying this, but I'm going to tell you right now, I think you got KP for extremely nothing. If you don't extend him, that's fine. Like, you can see how he plays out. If you don't like him, he's off the books. Fine. 30 million like that. Fine. Good. You don't have to worry about him anymore. You want to trade Trae Young, you feeling like I'm not super high on him. You don't feel like you can win anymore. I think you can get some serious value there. You've got Dyson Daniels, who's a restricted free agent after this season. I think they can extend. I think they're going to extend him at some point before the season starts. I think Jalen Johnson has potential there. I think there's a lot to be impressed about with the Hawks. I love the pick that they made to get Asa Newell. I think he'll be a nice little contributor there too. I love the Luke Kennard edition, the Nickeil Alexander-Walker edition. I think they definitely have real, players that can help them in this conference. They're putting all the chips on the table. Year 2 for Risa Shea. I think you took him number 1 overall. I'm not totally sure, but maybe we'll see a leap from him. I think it's definitely necessary, but very high in the Hawks. I think you can make an argument for S, but I think as of right now, I'm going to keep them an A.
I mean, everything you said was completely factual. I think the only reason why this team is not S tier, because you do have to understand, as I was mentioning, listen to me. The only reason why the Hawks are not S tier in the format that we've described throughout this podcast is for the simple fact that their front office cannot decide what to do with Trae Young, right? They cannot decide whether he's going to be the leader of that team, pay him his well-deserved dollars, right? Or move him and try and elevate one of these young guys that are, to be quite honest with you, unproven to be able to lead a team in any form or fashion, talking about either a Jalen Johnson or Zachary Risa-Shea, right? As a biased fan of Trae Young, best point guard in the league, to me, it's a no-brainer. We've seen what he's been able to do over the years. Still a young guy just entering his prime, which is very scary for the league. Team loves him. Kristaps Porzingis, he's never seen the ball being placed in such easy places for him to, create opportunities for himself. Like he says it every time he gets a mic in front of his face. It's a no-brainer. But now that we've done that, it dragged it out to this point. That relationship is frayed. I gotta watch whatever Trae Young interview he's doing now, to see how he feels about the situation. But it can't be good. But that's the only reason why I got them in the A spot.
Yeah, I think you're there too. Ian, you had anything to say?
No, not at
I
all.
mean,
Not
I guess those are facts, but we still have to see if Trae Young, in my opinion, Trae Young needs to take that extra step. So we'll see if he takes it this year in his leadership role.
It's all like, I'm not gonna get into it for the sake of time. But ladies and gentlemen, he has no idea what he's talking about.
Yep. Trae Young. Yeah,
No
50 points per game. 50 points per game against the Heat. In the playoffs. That happened. Yeah.
You have to take a step from averaging the most assists in the league.
Yeah. You
have to take a step from that.
Morgan, let's be honest.
Hey, Armstrong, he's stepping on the moon at that point. All right, let's go to S tier.
All right.
Who is the team most prime talking about now in the future that you have on the S tier right now, and why?
I don't think there's really any sort of discussion needed. The Oklahoma City Thunder, they've got a treasure trove of picks. Yes, you paid, you gave J-Dub and Chet Holmgren their well-deserved money. I think definitely doable. I think, again, you have enough picks from the on the Thunder side to kind of have a little a revolving door of support pieces, whether it comes in the form of, hey, Lou Dort, it's getting kind of expensive. See ya. Alex Caruso, see ya. Hart, see ya. They've got all, it's a revolving door of hey, assets coming in, assets coming out. Cason Wallace, take a step. I think they really they committed the perfect rebuild. I think a lot of it is kind of faulty on the Clippers' part for just giving up so much, and I don't think the Clippers really could have foreseen Shea turn into who he is now, better than the guy that they traded for. And I think that kind of just adds fuel to the fire there. But other than that, I don't think it really goes without question. The Thunder is definitely they're just, I don't think they can get enough praise. I don't think Sam Presti can get enough praise for what he's done.
Yeah, I agree. They definitely set themselves apart from everyone else. Rosters construction wise, future wise, their GM just put them in a really perfect spot. They really have a really nice big window.
It's all true. And this will be my only take for this list. We do have to wrap up, but Ian will appreciate this. The San Antonio Spurs and what they've done, it's going to be and it's a little bit quiet. But the Wemby thing is kind of we're getting into a territory where it's only injury that's going to derail what's going on in that city. You just had the Rookie of the Year, Stephon Castle. Now you pair him with a De'Aaron Fox. What we're getting ready to see in the league, if Wemby can stay alive, I don't even know what we're going to compare it to other than a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar type of run. It's going to be to a point where it's not going to matter what Shea you have, what KD you have, what else. If you're not going to be able to score, it's going to get weird, right? So they're going to be in a close second for me. They've got a lot to work with that team. A lot of consulting from the greats that have came through that organization. It's going to get bad, and I'm very concerned about what's brewing in San Antonio. I'm very concerned for the league. That's what I'll say.
I think we failed to address too. Dylan Harper looked very, very good. I think like it's made me kind of wonder what's De'Aaron Fox's future going to be like in San Antonio. You've got Stephon Castle, you got Stephon Castle, you've got Dylan Harper. If Dylan Harper keeps playing at the caliber he's playing right now, and I think obviously like we need a bigger sample size, yeah, we're definitely in trouble. The Spurs, I think, have gotten themselves into a lot of these smaller trades, like the DeMar trade to the Kings, the De'Aaron Fox trade that gave them De'Aaron Fox from the Kings. They're just like these little moves they've just gotten, and it's absurd. It's honestly absurd. They've really built themselves up. They've got I can't even say generational because like that doesn't even really do it justice. Whatever freak of nature you really want to call Wembanyama,
It's weird.
Yeah, it's weird, dude. Like
it's the only way to describe it. Like it's going to get weird. But I think he'll lead us into a new era of basketball. With that being said, but gentlemen, we'll have to hop off here. But any final takes that we have about this S tier before we wrap this thing up?
I like the S tier. I thought that was probably the best tier list that had the correct teams, in my opinion.
That Denver Nuggets thing to me is a bit questionable.
I think I'll admit that. Like I probably could have switched Denver around with Minnesota, but that's probably the only thing I'd really change about this list. I think Minnesota, like Anthony Edwards, has got a very bright future ahead of him. I think they've got the role guys that are really good and can provide a lot of value. The Mike Conley thing kind of is scary to me, but I think at the same time they'll still be competitive enough. Denver, I think, is very well built. I think they've just given up too much future assets in order to make the team what it is right now. And I think that's the main thing that really keeps me from solidifying them in S. And if I were able to change, I would flip Minnesota and Denver right now. But other than that, I feel like everything else is pretty set.
Yes, sir. Now, shout out to Joey for putting together the tier list. That was some great chat. The NBA is here. It's a very exciting time for sports. We will have to get into some football too later on. But nah, man. So let's wrap this thing up at Take 5. We will see y'all next week. All right.